Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here. And in today's GTA 5 video, this is going to be your buying guide for the new agency, property, and business in Grand Theft Auto Online that was just added to the contract DLC. So if you want to start the majority of the content in this update, you're going to need an agency. And this can be found on the Dynasty 8 Executive app. It's only the second property to be added to this website. There are 4 locations, and they are all roughly located throughout the city. The first is Rockford Hills. For many, the bad part about Rockford Hills is its population of wealthy celebrities, endless complaining about their problems for you. The good part about Rockford Hills is the population of wealthy celebrities endlessly complaining about their problems. That is $2,415,000. Just below that, you have Vespucci Canals. Want to add some European glamour to your agency? It's never been easier with these 2 simple steps. Pick a spot in Vespucci Canals to start day drinking. And that is $2,145,000. Just to the right of that, you have Little Seal. This grade A office comes with the delightful addition of Little Seal ambience, a soothing mix of nightlife, gang crime, and the howling curbside breakdowns of lowly businessmen. This is the cheapest option. This is going to be your cheapest option at just over $2 million. And then to the north of that, near the casino, you've got Hawick. This luxurious office space in Galileo House offers splendid views of shameless commercialism at its finest. You know you've made it when you're side by side with Queefstat for $2,830,000, the most expensive. So if you're asking yourself right now, which one should you get or which one should you avoid? I always personally recommend not going with the most expensive and the cheapest for a couple of reasons. Number one, for the expensive one, a lot of players will go into this thinking, oh, it's the most expensive. It's got to have some special perk or upgrade. There's nothing different to it other than its proximity to certain stuff. So if you value it being close to the casino, go with that one. But some people are going to look at this and say, okay, I want it because it's the most expensive. It's going to increase the traffic in that area. Likewise, the least expensive one, players are obviously going to want to save money. So a lot of people are going to go for the cheapest one. So I would honestly go for the 2 right in the middle, Rockford Hills or Vespucci Canals. They're not too terribly more expensive at $2,415,000 and $2,145,000. I think it's definitely going to decrease the amount of other players around your area. Now, for the sake of this video, I'm going to show you the most expensive office that you could possibly get. So we're going to start in Hawick. And the first thing you get to choose from is 3 different art styles. The first is Power and Money, which is given to you for free. Now, if you decide later down the line you'd like to change back to Power and Money, it will cost you a little bit. We'll run through some of the changes that you can see in a little bit towards the end of this video. The second option you can choose from, though, is Pop and Hype, which is going to cost you $265,000. These paintings and statues are a little bit more colorful, and they sort of pop out at you. And then the third one is Loyalty and Respect. This one's going to cost you $340,000. It's really your own preference here. The most bougie or expensive one, though, is Loyalty and Respect. Now, after that, you have Wallpaper, and this is going to vary based off of the ones you choose. Floral is given to you for free. You can see it's this sort of like geometric design with greens and pinks. Marble is the second choice you get for $208,500. Obviously, it just looks like marble countertops, but on the walls, that one's pretty good. The one after that one is Geometric. This one truly does have a geometric design. $232,500 is what is going to set you back right here. So that's Geometric. The next one is Designer, which kind of has that like colorful pastel pink, blue, and yellow Louis Vuitton-esque look to it. This is $259,500. I like that one quite a bit. The next one is Presidential, $286,500, which kind of looks like the face of dollar bills. And then you've got the San Andreas Vault logo on there. So it's basically just like a money wallpaper print design. I like that one quite a bit. After that, it is Exotic, $322,500. It looks like you've got this golden tiger design, which looks pretty awesome. The final 4 there really do give you a lot of gold going on here. After that, it is Tiled, which again, sort of these black and gray triangles with gold triangles built into there as well. This is $360,000, so we're starting to get pretty pricey on the list. Then you've got organic, which is like these gold palm tree leaves. This one looks really good. I really like the final three. I think my favorite. That's $400,500. And then the most expensive one is royal, which is kind of giving these like Versace vibes. It's $442,500. So those are all your wallpaper options right there. Then you can choose the wall highlight. These are all the same. It's going to cost you $100,000 to go from anything but charcoal. So it's charcoal, sage, green, red, purple, brown, gray, ash, and moss. I ended up going with ash here just because I knew I was already going with a lot of gold stuff. So we went with ash. Then you can add the Armory. This is one that I highly recommend you end up adding. This is going to give you a lot of bonuses, as we'll discuss in a little bit. That is $720,000. Then the accommodation, which will allow you to basically sleep, change your clothes, and spawn here. That's $275,000. And the vehicle workshop, where you can modify your cars, that is $800,000. So when it's all said and done, this thing is $5,507,500. Pretty expensive. Now, again, I chose the priciest art and the priciest wallpaper and did every single upgrade. So yours might not be this expensive, and I chose the most expensive location, but I just wanted to show you guys what the most expensive location would end up being. So once you bought it, you'll then see its location on the map. This is what it will look like in case you don't know what to look for, the agency. And then, as you saw a little bit earlier, you'll be given a cutscene where you're introduced to Franklin and a couple of the other characters that are a part of the agency. And then from there, you just get involved with all the features of the agency. So when you first spawn in, you're going to notice that there's like moving boxes and green crates. These eventually go away as you spend more time in the agency. So when you see those at first, just know that. You start in your office right here, which has an office safe. This is where your money is going to show up as you complete various missions. You can also see there's ample things to interact with, like the radio and seats if you have friends over. To the left, there is a giant conference room, which, again, if you have associates over, you guys can use and you guys can sit down there. There's a couple of other seating areas as well that are connected to Franklin's office. So every time you walk in, Franklin is going to have some interesting comments to give you. You can also see this is where Chop is located. And the big question, I'm sure a lot of you guys are wondering, can you interact with Chop? The answer is yes, you can pet Chop. To do so, you just hit triangle and you'll end up petting Chop. And the second you do so, you'll actually get an award. You'll get a 800 RP award, and you do so for petting Chop. That might be the easiest platinum award that you can get in Grand Theft Auto Online. So Chop's a good boy. He's really fun to have in the agency. As you go downstairs, you'll notice there's a handful of other things you can interact with as well. A bowl of snacks that obviously allows you to refill it for free, which is pretty cool. You can also speak to the agency services desk, which will allow you to exit via a personal vehicle if you have them in your garage. You can also exit via helicopter, and you can get SUV service, which will basically taxi you to a handful of different locations throughout the map. Now, there's an elevator as well, which will get you access to the ground, to the roof. You can exit via one of your vehicles, or you can go to the garage. So the garage is actually something we'll check out in a little bit. There's a handful of other things you can interact with, though. There's a telescope, which is kind of cool. And there's a staircase that gets you to the Armory/personal quarters floor. And on this floor as well, there's also a lot of stuff that you can interact with as well. You've got a soda machine. You've got various drinks that you can consume, snacks and whatnot. So lots of stuff to interact with. And then let's jump into the Armory. So the Armory allows you to do a lot. You can purchase weapons and equipment here at an exclusive discount. You have the Requisitions Officer, which will give you access to weapons, Mark II upgrades, ammo, and armor. It will allow you to take a look at your current weapon loadout by hitting L1, which is kind of cool. You can also buy equipment such as rebreathers, night vision goggles, etc. So we'll talk about this a little bit later on in other videos and in my Buyer Beware video, but I do think that the Armory is pretty worth it. as far as all the upgrades that you can do and the things that you end up getting. You'll also notice throughout this floor, there's a handful of game cabinets as well. I don't believe these can be swapped out. At least I haven't found a way to swap them out yet. So you've got a couple of game cabinets that you can play if you want. And then that leads us to your personal quarters, where you have the ability to change your clothes, go to sleep, use the restroom, and that's pretty much it. There's like a lounging area where you can drink wine, where you can set up shots of whiskey or whatever that might be, look through another telescope, listen to the radio, watch TV and whatnot. So that's what's going on in your personal quarters. And then we can actually take a look at the garage. So your garage is a 3-story compound. And one of the first things you'll notice is that you have vehicles already parked in there. One of them is actually Franklin's car. This is the new Buffalo, but we know that's his based off of the license plate, FC 1988. Now, you don't have access to this vehicle, but because Franklin stays here, it's not a surprise that he would park his car. Now, there's also another vehicle with the license plate FCP1, Franklin Clinton Partner 1. We do have access to this vehicle. It's the Enus Jubilee. This is a vehicle that we can use for missions that'll drop us off, etc. And then you can see there that there's the vehicle workshop where we'll end up doing and modifying vehicles. On the second floor, this is where you can actually move around your cars. It's 3 levels, and on the bottom floor, there's one of the new bikes as well. And it says Zoomer on the license plate. So this was there for me. I was in an invite-only private session, so I don't know whose bike that is. Maybe it's Imani's. It's certainly not Chop's, I can tell you that. So that's the garage area. You also have a helipad on the rooftop, which has been added to all the agency buildings, so you can land helicopters on there and enter the building via doing that. Now, after completing a few missions and spending some time around the agency, you'll notice that things have changed up a little bit. The green boxes are no longer there inside of your office, so that has been tidied up. And you'll also notice that stuff will begin to be added to your desk and the office itself. So it looks like it's going to be dynamic, and stuff like that is going to change over time, which is actually pretty cool. And like I said, you can change up the various styles that you have in here, like the various wallpaper and the art style. So if you end up doing that, obviously the artwork is going to change. You'll notice that on every floor, and including the garage where your vehicle workshop is. So go ahead and check that out if you want. And then, of course, if you go back to the original one, it's going to cost you $195,000. So those are the changes that you can make to the agency. And I guess this kind of goes without saying. The only other difference between the physical location of where the agency is the view you will get. There's a lot of glass in these agencies. So if you actually look around and peer outside, there are telescopes. It is going to change your view. But other than that, there really isn't anything else with the locations other than price. So you have my suggestions. You have my recommendations. That is your entire overview right there of the brand new property in Grand Theft Auto Online, the agency. Now, unfortunately, the only thing that's a little bit of a bummer is Rockstar isn't giving away a location for free. This is something they've done with the last couple of updates in the properties that have arrived. Specifically for Prime Gaming members, they've given away one of the locations for free. This doesn't look like that's the case. So no matter which way you slice it, you're going to have to end up paying for one of these properties. And unfortunately, these guys are pretty expensive because there's a lot of things I think you definitely need. And the cheapest one is still over $2 million. So it's going to take a little bit of some money to get involved with this thing. But the agency is super cool. That's my property and business overview. We'll obviously be going over the business-esque aspect of things a little bit later on in the day and throughout the next couple of weeks. But let me know in those comments down below, which agency location did you choose and which upgrades did you go with as well? I'd love to hear from you guys in those comments down below. If you guys did go to enjoy this video, though, a like rating would, of course, be awesome. And be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new. You want to stay up to date on all the latest GTA and all the contract DLC videos that I'll be doing here on my channel. And be sure to ring that notification bell as well. Sometimes YouTube just doesn't work. If you ring that bell, you'll always be guaranteed to be notified when new videos arrive. But of course, as always, guys, thank you all so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.